Hello and welcome to the Long Day's Journey into Film podcast. I'm Russ, here with my co-host.
Andy here.
We're going to be talking about Yojimbo and Paris, Texas today. Stick around for that. It will be a spoiler discussion, so keep that in mind in case you haven't seen them yet.
Both movies are on HBO Max if you haven't seen them.
And Criterion Channel, so at least in the U.S. because Criterion Channel isn't everywhere for some reason. Before we get into the movie discussion, I'd like to real quick shout out the Movies and More movie Discord server. It's a great server, a lot of cool people, and some really cool movie events. So check that out. There'll be a link in the description. And also check out the Film Collective movie server. It's a big server with a lot of people and also a lot of movie events. So check that out too if you want. Also, link in the description. And anything else we should shout out while we're shouting stuff out? Our Letterboxd accounts will be in the description as well if you care to follow us. And
we also have an Instagram page now, so you can go follow us there at Long Day's Journey into Film.
And there'll be updates and stuff, updates and announcements for what we're going to talk about and when the episodes are coming out. Usually we'll be uploading on Monday, so every week, what we're shooting for now. Is there any movie news of any sort you'd like to talk about? This might be a thing we do in every episode if it catches on. But
Criterion has announced that they're going to do some 4K movies now,
which is epic. I've been waiting for that. Starting with Citizen Kane. Nice.
Yes, sir.
Which really does seem like a good movie for Criterion to start off with, with everyone considering it to be like the greatest film ever made and stuff. And I can't believe that they don't even have a Blu-ray of it. I know it's on I think Criterion Laserdisc, so it is technically in the collection. But I don't know, it's kind of odd that they don't even have a Blu-ray of it yet. But I guess they were waiting to give it a 4K.
There's a movie. I think it's one of the only commentaries Stanley Kubrick ever did, and it was on the Laserdisc of one of his movies. I don't remember which.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with the Laserdiscs at all.
I want to say it was probably what's the movie he did? Full Metal Jacket. That's what I'm thinking of.
So I didn't know that was in the collection. We should talk about some Kubrick films at some point. That would be kind of cool.
Yeah, I have most of his stuff from when he was really taking off.
Yeah, I've seen all of them. I'd like to rewatch a lot of them. I did a big binge and watched all of his marathoned all his films last, I think, September. Not really sure, but yeah, he's got some great stuff that I'd like to talk about. But,
I just googled it here. The commentary was 17 minutes of commentary on Doctor Strangelove.
Oh, okay, that's cool. Also, I think, let's see, let me check. Yeah, Mulholland Drive will be getting a 4K Criterion release, or re-release, since it's already got a Blu-ray, so that's cool. I'll probably pick up that too. In, I think, November, they're doing it. A few other titles, let me see.
Mulholland Drive Blu-ray on Criterion. I have not watched the movie yet, though.
You need to get on that. That's a good one.
Definitely cover it for a future episode.
For sure. Oh, also, they're doing Menace to Society, The Piano, The Red Shoes, and Hard Day's Night will all be on 4K. That's cool. Menace to Society, I think that's I don't think that's in the collection yet. Unless it's on Laserdisc, I'm not really sure, but so that's cool. Yeah, just a little Criterion update for those who follow that type of thing. Okay, so now we're going into the Yojimbo discussion. And this was so this episode we're doing we took recommendations from our listeners. So if you want to recommend a movie, we'll be doing this every third episode, and just leave your recommendation in the YouTube comment section. This recommendation was from Nicole N. So shout out Nicole N. Yeah, so this is Yojimbo from 1961, directed by Akira Kurosawa, the one and only Akira Kurosawa. And yeah, so what is this one about?
Yojimbo is about Sanjuro, a lone drifter or ronin, if you will, comes into town and unknowingly walks into a gang war and decides to help when he realizes it's thrown the town into chaos. And that's, pretty much the gist of it.
And it's starring Toshiro Mifune, and I might have said that wrong, and Tatsuyo Nakade, who are considered two of the greatest Japanese actors, and they work with Kurosawa a lot. So what do you think of this one?
I kind of have mixed feelings on it, surprisingly. I know it's Kurosawa, and I'm supposed to love it, but I don't. I don't hate it, but I don't love it.
Yeah, I get that. Yeah, this was my second Kurosawa. The first one was The Hidden Fortress. And that one I also enjoyed, but neither of these have blown me away. Like a lot of people describe their experiences watching these films, and I haven't seen a Kurosawa yet that's really clicked with me. I still need to see some of his most famous things, most famous films like Seven Samurai and Akiru, and High and Low. But yeah, I thought it was good. I really enjoyed it. It's a fun movie. It looks great, that's for sure. Good cinematography, good camera work.
It's a very Kurosawa seems to be a very visual director.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
Which it's fine. I don't mind. And I saw that there was supposed to be, or there is some thematic elements of old versus new, and I can kind of see that, especially with the introduction of the gun towards the latter half of the film.
Yeah, with Tatsuyo Nakade's character.
At the same time, I feel it's more low key about politics almost.
Yeah, I get that. Yeah, I didn't really get a lot of deeper themes or ideas out of this film. It's just kind of to me, it's just kind of it's like a fun samurai. It's not really an adventure film like, I don't know, The Hidden Fortress or something was, but
it's in one location for
yeah,
the majority of
it, it's more of, maybe this is the wrong way to say it, but kind of a popcorn film. I don't think there's a lot thematically a lot of deeper meanings in it. Maybe I'm just missing something. I'm not sure, but
I did catch a couple lines throughout the film that were just felt like it was throwing shade towards money instead of traditionalism, which I guess actually does go back to the old versus new themes present. Because I don't exactly remember who said it, but there's a line in the movie, you can't build a fortune unless you're known as a killer and a thief.
Yeah. Yeah,
which is a very poignant line even today. And I guess, what's the word I'm looking for? Business side of things, like money.
Yeah, and greed.
A lot of
for
it
sure.
is based around money and greed.
Yeah,
Specifically the rivalry between the two gangs, which are actually the two gangs are. One is a split off of the original gang, which is the reason why the movie even happens in the first place.
Yeah, I really like the whole thing, how Sanjuro, the main character, we don't actually know his name, but he calls himself Sanjuro. He's just kind of the nameless samurai that, he's kind of just wandering without a purpose, kind of. But I really like how he's playing the two sides against each other. That's a really interesting. I like the way that whole how he's kind of tricking both sides and playing them against each other.
Goes about it very cleverly, and he does end up getting caught.
Yeah,
in the latter half of the film.
To a pulp by the giant guy who carries a hammer around. I really
It's
liked him. He
pretty
was a cool
intimidating.
character.
I really like the, I don't remember his name, but the samurai with the gun. Really interesting character, and of course there's that shot towards the end of the film where the silk merchant place is burning down, and like his face is centered like right next to the flames.
Yeah, that
And
was a
it's
good
like,
shot.
yeah.
Yeah, really. Yeah, he was a good character.
I did want to say that Kurosawa is amazing at blocking.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, a lot of great shots and stuff.
And I definitely noticed more of the shots this time around. I don't know why I'm saying this time around. This is my first time watching. It's my first time watching, but I watched it twice. Just
Yeah, I saw it twice too.
make sure I knew what was going on. So
Yeah.
good.
This film was kind of famously inspired Sergio Leone. This and Sanjuro, the sequel, to inspired Sergio Leone to make the Fistful of Dollars and a Few Dollars More, which are very similar in theme. I actually haven't seen Sanjuro yet, so I'm not sure if that one's the same as A Few Dollars More. But I know this one's very similar to Fistful of Dollars, and even Kurosawa sued Sergio Leone because he didn't like have the right to remake it or whatever. And yeah, very very similar. Have you seen the Fistful of Dollars?
I have not. I have not seen much Clint Eastwood. Surprisingly.
Yeah, it's pretty much the same film except for the main character is a cowboy, like a Clint Eastwood cowboy.
I've seen Unforgiven. Good film.
I need to see that. Yeah, I haven't seen enough Clint Eastwood films. And yeah, it takes place in the West and stuff. But yeah, it's pretty much the same story. Apparently, Kurosawa also this was kind of a remake of an earlier film from the 40s. I forget what it was called, and I guess he didn't have the right to remake it either. But I don't know. I read that on the IMDb trivia.
Well, thank you, IMDb trivia.
Yeah, there's some good juicy tidbits of trivia there. There's a lot of really good scenes in it. I really like the one when Sanjuro is they're all gonna fight, like the two opposing sides. They're like gonna fight, and he's gonna like lead the one side, and then he's like, they were like planning to kill him afterwards, and he's like, nope, and just like runs away and is watching, and they're all kind of, everyone's acting so tough, and then when they actually have to fight, they're like kind of nervous. I thought that was a great scene.
The whole dynamic between the two clans and even in the clans themselves are amusing to watch.
Yeah, I really like all the characters in it. They all have a lot of personality.
Especially Nikichi. Oh, is that right? Nikichi?
Kichi? Kichi? Yeah, he's funny.
He's great. He's one of the funnier characters in the film, bringing a element of humor into it.
Yeah, that's another thing about the film is it does have quite a bit of humor in it, which I wasn't really expecting. Yeah, I mean, it's not like, it's not too comedic. It's not like it's a comedy. But it's definitely got a lot of lighthearted moments and goofy stuff, which I enjoyed. I thought the tone worked well.
The music also helps with the tone a lot.
Yeah,
I find the music to be a very central part of the film, even though like I had some minor issues with how it was cut between the scenes. Like the music would swell up and then it would just like cut to silence. It's kind of weird.
Yeah, there's one point where let's see, Sanjuro, he's like hiding in a coffin, and the one guy is like carrying him, and like one of the I think it's Kichi or whatever. They're like both carrying him, thinking it's like.
Oh yeah.
And like the music is playing, and then like the guy walks off, and that just cuts. Like the music just ends, and like it's not maybe there are a few points where it wasn't
because that's more editing rather than direction.
It does have good editing though. I think
I mean the editing is good, especially I mean, going along with all the elements of cinematography and blocking and stuff.
Yeah, I feel like editing is kind of overlooked until it's bad. If there's bad editing, it's obvious, but a lot of good editing goes unnoticed, which is kind of it's doing its job.
Then you have unique editing, like with stuff, like Edgar Wright or Quentin Tarantino even.
Oh yeah, there's definitely some directors or some films that have very distinct editing style. But for the most part, like a film like this, I feel like the editing just kind of goes unnoticed because it is good. And there was one thing that kind of bothered me in this. In some of the fight scenes when they're fighting with swords or katanas, I guess. Is it a specific kind of sword that I'm messing up?
I don't know.
Anyway, in some of the fight scenes when people are getting like cut up and stuff, it doesn't look like they're getting cut up. It just looks like they're being hit with like sticks or like fake swords.
Yeah, there was definitely one scene towards the latter half of the film. I keep saying that. Funny. Where he makes a small movement and it's supposed to have killed the guy, but I was like, did he not just touch the guy? What happened here?
Yeah, and stuff like that was a bit noticeable. I mean, there are some parts where like it'll cut and you'll see like a cut off arm fall down or something.
I think the best one, in my opinion, was definitely when Sanjuro goes to save the guy's wife.
Oh, yeah.
He's being held captive, and he busts up in there and just slaughters everyone, and then
just trashes the place. Yeah,
to make it look as though they get killed by the other class.
Yeah, I like that scene too. Just watching Toshiro Mifune just trash a room is entertaining.
I want to point out at the very beginning of the film, Sanjuro, we don't know his name yet at this time, but he throws a stick up into the air, and where the stick lands is because he walks up into like it's like a split path or something. So he throws the stick up into the air, where it lands, he goes. So it was kind of just a flip of the coin how he ended up.
Yeah, he just kind of comes into town and like, the whole thing's going on, the whole like rivalry gang war thing, and it's just kind of like, yeah, this is interesting. I'll stick around. And also what's interesting is like his character, you're not really sure what his motivation is. Like at first you kind of just think he's he just wants like money or whatever. And that kind of does turn out that he's just he is kind of a good guy. He just kind of wants to.
Well, I mean,
in a way,
pretty heavily into that he stays because he realizes that these men do deserve to die.
Yeah, and yeah, but like by the end of it, he doesn't really get much out of it other than that.
Yeah.
I did think it felt like not the ending, like the ending sequence, but like the actual ending just ended kind of abruptly. Like it just kind of like boom, the end, and then it's over. Maybe that's because there were no credits because it's an older movie and they don't usually do that.
I think most of the credits were at the beginning.
Yeah, that's how a lot of older films do it.
This movie made me fucking hungry. I'll tell you that much. Because every time Sanjuro goes and does something, he ends up eating afterwards.
Yeah. There's that one scene when he's like eating out of like a pot. It's like got something like boiling in there. That looked really good.
Yeah. And I just want Asian food now.
We should talk about Tampopo on here at some point. That's a good Japanese movie that'll definitely make you hungry.
Oh God, I already have to snack constantly.
I don't think I got much more to say about this one. Just a few notes I have. Sanjuro has a shoulder tick. Kind of just... I'm not sure if that meant something or... I don't know. He always kind of moves his shoulder. That. Yeah, that's about it. That's about all I gotta say. I really enjoyed it. I think it's a solid movie. But it just didn't. It just wasn't next level for me.
It didn't hit like I thought it would hit.
Yeah, it's definitely it's very influential, and it is very well made, and I really appreciate it. But it just doesn't it's not quite the level. Maybe it's because I had high expectations because it's very highly rated. But yeah, I think it's just a solid movie. I'm still waiting for Kurosawa to really blow me away, but I'm sure we'll talk about more of his stuff at some point. Like I mentioned before, like Seven Samurai, High and Low, that type of thing. Yeah, I would. You got anything else to say about this?
Not really. I've covered about as much as I can.
Okay, yeah, I would give this one a 7 out of 10. Solid 7.
I'd probably give it about a 6 out of 10. It's just, I don't know. I just didn't vibe with it completely. I don't hate it, but I don't love it. So I guess I'll just stick with liking it. I was not a big fan of the pacing. The pacing just felt odd to me. Like it was a bit long-winded for me. I felt like they could have cut out a little bit of the bickering, I guess, between the two clans and actually got stuff done.
Yeah, I know what you mean, but I think I thought the pacing was fine. I thought it was maybe like could have cut out maybe 10 minutes or something, but it didn't feel like it was long to me.
It did.
But yeah, I'd like to check out the sequel at some point. But yeah, that's about it for this one. So thanks for the recommendation again, Nicole N. I hope this was a satisfactory discussion of this film. And do recommend more things in the future. And anyone else listening, recommend something down below. I don't think you can recommend, or I don't think you can comment on like Spotify. So yeah, I got to go to the YouTube, which will be linked. Should we now get on to our next recommendation recommended by Mav. Paris, Texas from 1984, directed by Wim Wenders. I hope I'm saying that right. I looked up the pronunciation and it said it was Wim Wenders, so he's like what, German, I think?
Yeah, he's German.
Who is another director I'm not familiar with. This is the only film I've seen from him.
The only one I've seen from him as well, but I've been meaning to check out like pretty much the rest of what he's done.
Yeah, I really want to see Wings of Desire and Until the End of the World. I actually own the Criterion for Until the End of the World, but that movie's like fucking 5.5 hours long or something. So
yeah, it's a daunting task. Maybe we should try to visit it one day.
Yeah, because I definitely like to talk about some really long movies on this podcast. But yeah, it's like 287 minutes that movie is. Anyway, Wim Wenders, Paris, Texas, 1984. You want to give a plot description?
So basically, hold on, I'm gonna go through the Letterboxd just because I don't want to like descript it so badly. Because I could just be like, man pops up, man meets son, man meets wife.
Yeah.
A man wanders out of the desert not knowing who he is. His brother finds him and helps to pull his memory back of the life he led before he walked out on his family and disappeared 4 years earlier. So that's generally...
Yeah, that's the general gist of it.
So, it never really diverges on what happened before. It only ever hints at it.
Also, this is also spoilers. So. Just want to make sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, it never really it never fully explains everything about it, which I think is a good thing.
I know it's probably because of the way they shot the film, which was chronologically.
Yeah.
Plot and shooting wise, they were shooting it day by day, scene by scene, pretty much.
Yeah, like I watched an interview with Wim Wenders on the Criterion Blu-ray, and he said like they never went to a specific place and said like this would look great in the shot or this would make a great shot. They just kind of did it, you know,
all on location as they went.
Yeah.
And they got really lucky with a lot of their shots. I know they had to wait for anytime there's a train scene. There's quite a few train scenes in the movie if you haven't noticed. But those trains would only come by once a day. So they had to like either get there or just wait for the train to get the shot that they needed.
Yeah, and like train tracks. There's that scene when what's his name? Travis, the main character, played by Harry Dean Stanton. He's like walking on the train track. I feel like that's almost like
There's like a metaphor there, but I ain't
yeah.
caught
I
on
feel like
quite
there
yet.
are deeper meanings in this film that I may be missing, especially with maybe some of the lighting and colors in the film. A lot of reds, a lot of greens. I feel like I'm
Typically woods like the lighting, and there's more red objects scattered around the film.
yeah, and like Travis and his son are wearing red shirts at one point. He's got the red hat at the beginning. There's like a red car. Yeah, a lot of red in particular. Yeah, like I feel like there are deeper meanings in this film that maybe went over my head, but I still love this film. I think it's a masterpiece.
I think at the core, it doesn't get enough credit for like being a romance movie, pretty much. Because the
Yeah, yeah,
entire movie is based around Harry Dean Stanton and his wives, right?
yeah, like
Yes,
ex-wife kind of.
ex-wife. I guess because he hasn't seen each other in 4 years.
Yeah, yeah, really great lighting and cinematography in this too, and just like beautiful like landscape shots of the desert and the
They
city.
use the panoramic photo lens for a lot of the outside nature scenes, which are all natural lighting. And those clouds, the reason they pop so much is because of the filter they used. And I think it gives the film a really unique look that other films don't have. Because
Yeah,
if
for sure.
like in other films, the background is usually like blown out to a degree. Meanwhile, you can clearly see like the fucking shading in the clouds.
Yeah, yeah, really great looking movie.
Gives everything a unique natural color too.
So should we talk more about like about it plot wise, kind of?
I mean, plot wise, it takes a while for Travis to even speak in the movie. I
Yeah,
don't
I
think
think it's
it's
like the
like
first like half hour. He's just kind of like mute.
he's mute, doesn't answer, kind of tries to run off every chance he gets.
I didn't really see it as he was trying to run off. It was more of he's just like completely out of it. He just like kind of just walks away because he doesn't really like he wasn't really fully aware of what he was doing. That's how I felt more than like he's trying to escape from his brother.
And
But
he's been walking for 4 years. It's never diverged on why he's been walking per se, even though it's like heavily into that. But I mean, after 4 years, it's like where has he been? How has he kept alive? And none of it's diverged upon.
that's not really the core of the movie. Is what he was
Yeah,
doing for those 4 years. Um,
it's what he's doing now that he's back into society and conforming, or at least
yeah,
trying to conform to what he's missed out, while
trying to
really
like pick up pieces of his life, kind of.
and ends up going on a search for his wife.
And
And like, I don't think his wife pops up in the picture until like 52 minutes into not exactly 52 minutes, but she it's more than about halfway through the film. It's the first time she pops up. And it's not
no,
even in
it's more
person.
like the last like 40 minutes when she.
She
Um,
pops up on the Super 8 camera
oh
footage
yeah.
that
You're
they
right.
get
Oh,
at
I
the
just meant like
beginning.
I thought you meant like when she actually appears in the film. Um,
Nah, her first human appearance is until like last 40 minutes.
yeah, it really it takes its time to get going and just kind of play out.
I
But
don't even
and the
mind that
film's
it
like
takes its time.
yeah. The film's like 2.5 hours long. I think it's like 2 hours and 26 minutes. It really even though it's slow paced, the film just goes by for me. It's really
Usually, like the first 40 minutes, like not 40 minutes, but like usually when a movie takes a bit of time to take off, I can get bored. With this one, I don't, because I guess if you're like me, you're a cinematography porn guy,
yeah,
and
for sure.
this film is filled with it, so I have enough going on cinematically to enjoy.
many times have you seen this one? Because this is my second watch.
I started the commentary actually today. I didn't get through it because I kind of like took a nap. But so I've seen it about 2.5 times now.
Okay.
So this is also my second rewatch. But during the commentary, I wasn't really focused on the movie itself. I was focused on the words by the director Vin Wenders.
Yeah. Yeah, Harry Dean Stanton is just really great in this film. This is like one of the best performances I've seen in something, I'd say, because he's just...
It's one of his favorite films, or was one of his favorite films, because he's passed away.
Yeah,
unfortunately.
he was a
It
great
wasn't
actor.
even supposed to be the main character in this film, actually. It was supposed to be Sam Shepard, who's the guy who wrote the script. Because this was before he was known as an actor, so he was kind of busy script writing at the time.
And I can't imagine this film without Harry Dean Stanton, because he just really
Yeah.
really brings a lot to it. He's was such a great actor. Just like his like facial expressions and like
He says so much without saying a word.
Yeah, especially in the first half hour where he literally doesn't say a word. And yeah, it's just really great filmmaking, great acting, especially in the booth scene, which is like the famous part of it, which we'll get into a bit. I feel like there's a bit more we can say before we get to that, because that's like the climax of the film, kind of. I really enjoy the scenes of like first in the first part of the movie, like Travis
the dynamic
and
between Travis and his brother.
Yeah, that's great. But like, I really enjoy the scenes of them like in the car driving, and then later with Travis and his son Hunter. Hunter, I think that was his name. Was it?
Yeah. Hunter.
Them driving too. Like, it's just such a it's not really a road trip movie, but like in a way it is.
I mean, it's considered a road trip movie in some circles.
Yeah, and I just really love that. It's such the whole movie's kind of a vibe, you know. But
it's definitely not your typical road trip movie either, where it's just one location and done. It takes a while to even get to LA, and then once they're in LA, he goes off back to what was it, Dallas or like Austin, Texas?
Yeah, Austin, Texas, Houston. I think they go to Houston.
Yeah.
And Paris, Texas, which was, the name of the film, which is the little lot of land Travis bought. It's just like an empty lot.
It's supposed to be the land that their parents met and fell in love at, which is why he bought it.
It was like the first time they had sex or something there, and like he thinks he was conceived there. I see that kind of as like, it's just an empty lot. It's almost like, because he had plans to like, go there with his family and live there and kind of build a life there. But it's just empty because it's, his life kind of fell apart after he, the whole thing with his wife and.
Yeah, which I find it interesting how his wife is first introduced through some Super 8 camera footage, family video, if you will, which shows them younger and enjoying their life as a family complete, and everything's happy-go-lucky. Which that scene was actually it was filmed after. At the end of the film, like after they finished wrapping the film, they went down to a beach. It was only Vin Wenders and the 5 actors. They went down to a beach and shot it there.
That's interesting.
One night.
Yeah, that was a great scene when they're watching that. Like, you could just tell how he feels about seeing
one of the key moments where Hunter really starts recognizing that Travis is his dad and starts to connect with Travis.
Yeah, I also really love that dynamic between Travis and his son. How at first Hunter is kind of, I don't know if he's really like afraid of him, but he's just kind of doesn't really know what to think, kind of, and because he just fucking shows up all of a sudden out of nowhere, and after like never, kind of not really being there, because when he left, he was like, what
And
was it,
like
like 3 years
Hunter,
old or something.
it takes a bit for Hunter to fill him out, vibe him out, you know.
Yeah, and like because and also like the parents like or I guess it's not his parents, but like they're
Travis's brother and wife.
yeah, they're kind of like the wife is like, she's like nervous that you know Travis is gonna like take the son away, because it's like that's like kind of her son at this point. They've taken care of him for so long, and that was interesting. And like, yeah, I just really love the whole thing with um Travis and Hunter, like how he wants to walk back from school, and first he doesn't. Then they're walking back on opposite sides of the street. Like that was a great scene. It's just got so many great little moments in it.
The first day he goes to walk his son is like he goes to the maid and he's like, "I want to dress like a dad. I don't know how to dress like a dad because he's been out of it like for 4 years.
Yeah,
Not in contact with society. So the first time he goes to try to walk with his son, he's dressed like a dad. He's supposed to be a dad. Oh yeah, I was gonna. I know It seemed there was a scene where they announced the license plate of the car that they're driving because Travis is like attached to the car because I guess it's. I don't know why Travis is attracted to that specific car, but that's the one he likes. And then in the movie, they go looking for it, and the name of the license plate is 667 DJP. I'm not sure if that has any significance to the plot that I'm missing.
I don't think so. Like I said, if there's like, I'm sure there's stuff that I'm missing, because this is it's a like the plot is straightforward, but I feel like there's a lot more kind of underneath that maybe I'm missing because I've only seen it a couple times. But yeah, I don't know if that has any significance, that number or series of.
I don't know. It just stuck out to me. I know this movie generally has this nice Americana, Southwestern United States look and feel to it, especially with the score and soundtrack.
Oh yeah, the kind of the twanging.
Which was inspired by an old blues guitarist by the name of Willie Johnson in 1928. And he had a song called Dark Was the Night, and that was like the song. R.J. Cooter, the guy in charge of the score, like it's the song he uses the basis for the sound of the film.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, I really enjoy that. Yeah, just whole film really, really great. There's that one scene where Travis is walking on like a bridge, and there's like that guy yelling.
Yeah, he's like yelling about some religious mumbo jumbo.
Yeah, and it's like it's all gonna. Everyone needs to get to the safe zone or some shit. Like I don't
I
really.
guess that's maybe 1984 LA for you.
I guess, yeah. Um,
Slice of life, which is kind of like what the film kind of feels like. It's kind of a slice of life film,
oh, for
but for
sure,
a
yeah,
very unique family.
yeah,
Because it's kind of like a family romance as a whole, even if it doesn't present itself as that.
yeah. Because like the first time I watched it, I wasn't familiar with the director, and I knew it was very highly rated, so I was excited to see what it was. And like, I didn't really know where it was going. I almost thought, not really thriller, but like I thought it was going to go in a direction, because like it's very like mysterious in the first, in the first maybe hour. Like I didn't really know where it was going with the whole, he just wanders out of the desert and like wants to find his wife and stuff. I didn't know where it was going. I thought it might go in like I don't know, like a darker direction or something the first time I saw it.
I'm glad it did not go into a dark direction.
Yeah, me too. I love the film how it is, and like
Interesting, but like generally, it's an all appeal film.
Yeah,
like there's no really kind of thing about it. There's no really like sad, depressing cliche moment that like most films have. They always have like a first and second act, and like there's the sad moment, and then it's the third act. This film didn't really have
not
that.
that. I do think the film's maybe yeah, it's never got like that big depressing moment. It's got a kind of like a melancholy. It's not really depressing, but
I guess one of like the more depressing parts is both the like ending and even though the ending's not really the last shot of the movie, we should say.
Yeah, and like, yeah, the whole film has a tone of like melancholy and like regret, kind of. But yeah, I know what you
Or
mean. It's never
nostalgia
got like,
even.
yeah, and like it's never got like a big like the big emotional beats you'd expect in a drama about this type of thing. And but yeah, the first time I saw it, I didn't know where it was going, and like by the time it got to the third act, some of the stuff, when he finally finds his wife and they're like in the booth and stuff, it's like, oh, so this is where it's going. And I really enjoyed it a lot more in second watch, knowing where the story goes. So yeah, that was interesting.
It's always a pleasure when a film adds more every watch.
I think the second watch of a movie is more important than the first watch because, sometimes you watch a movie for the first time and it's like, man, this is so fucking great. And then you watch it again, it's like, you know what, it's okay. Or like you watch a movie the first time and it's like, I don't really know how I felt about that. And then the second watch, like, really connects with you. And yeah, just if you're going into a movie knowing what to expect from it, I feel like that is a better experience.
Yeah. And the whole camaraderie of Hunter and Travis is very lighthearted and very wholesome, if you will.
Yeah. Yeah, I really enjoy that, and like their conversation, like when the son's, when Hunter's telling him about like, different stuff, like in the car, he's telling him like, oh, the universe exploded into existence and stuff. Just like that whole, I really enjoy all the moments with them, and or like when they're sitting in the back of the truck eating. I don't know what the fuck are they eating. It's like something French or something. Anyway, they're like sitting in the back of the truck and they're talking, or when they're like. I really love the part. This is probably one of my favorite parts of the movie. It's just such a small scene, but after the first time Travis goes to see his wife in the, I don't know, what is that place? It's like a call girl type thing, club, I guess, where you like sit there behind a one-way mirror and talk to a girl. And she's in there, and he talks to her like very briefly that first time. She doesn't know it's him because it's a one-way mirror, and then he goes back and like he goes to a bar and gets kind of drunk, and then like him and his son kind of drags him over to, I don't know what is it? It's like an empty building kind of.
Yeah, it's kind of sketchy, back alley kind of thing.
Yeah, and he like drags him over there, and he's just like laying on the couch, and he's telling him about like his mother and the way his father like felt about it. And it's just like such a great scene because it's not like it's just such a like small moment. And I really love that. I just really love the like you said, the camaraderie between those two characters. Also, the child actor is good in this. I forget his name, but sometimes child actors fucking suck in movies, and it just ruins it because, like, I mean, they're kids. I wouldn't expect every child actor to be great, but I always like to see a good child actor. Does that sound weird? Anyway, I like it when the child actor doesn't ruin the entire movie.
The child actor. Just the way you phrase that was pretty funny.
That's a
one of my favorite scenes. Sussy Baka.
Anyway, what were you saying?
One of my favorite scenes of the film is after Travis goes to see his wife at the Carl at the Call Girl Center.
The Carl Girl Center.
Yojimbo. Yeah. My southern slaw coming out. But yeah, he goes to see his wife and he walks out, and Hunter asks him if that was her, and he says yes. So then they go to like eat somewhere, I think, and so they end up in this town, and it's kind of like a small town, I guess, on the outskirts of LA.
Yeah.
Country type vibe. Anyways, they go to a bar, And the bar scene's like you finally see how much Hunter and Travis are like his father and son, how they're both stubborn and kind of like to be alone when they're angry.
Yeah, that's a great scene. Yeah, a lot of great scenes in this film, and
The last act is definitely one of the best final acts ever for film.
yeah, for sure. The entire second booth scene, when he goes back to see his
Which is
talk to his
probably
wife again.
the most famous scene of the movie. The big
Oh,
old
for sure.
mirror.
It's like one of the best scenes in anything, I'd say. I mean, it's up there in like
Yeah.
favorite scenes. Yeah, he finally goes back to see his wife again, and she doesn't know it's him at first, and he's telling their whole first he says like, "Oh, can I tell you a story?" And he's describing their kind of how their relationship kind of broke down, and how it was going and stuff, and he was suspicious that she was cheating on him or something, and then he got kind of, I don't know if an alcoholic, but like he was drank a lot.
Yeah.
How he was kind of abusive, how he would do stuff like tie a cowbell to her and so she wouldn't run away, and like he tied her to a stove or whatever the fuck. And yeah, he just runs, and then he says like he ran all until morning or whatever, and he was kind of running ever since to, I guess he went to like Mexico, and then like at the beginning of the film he just walks out of the desert like mute,
Running from his responsibility.
Yeah, and it's just such a great scene. The acting is so good in that film from both, or in that scene from both of them. And it's very simple. It's just kind of like
I was high watching the last mirror scene, and that shit elevated it so much.
Nice. But yeah, that whole part, and then yeah, it's just such a. I hate to sound sappy, but it's such a moving scene. That whole part. I'm not sure how long it goes on for, but it's a
pretty long scene. It takes up the majority of the last scene. And
it's just them talking, and it's so such a great, yeah, and they never actually meet like face to face,
actually,
in the film.
I didn't even realize that.
And is there more we should say about that scene? Am I missing something, or should we get on to that?
The color was on point in that scene. She's wearing pink.
The first time he sees her, she's wearing pink.
Yeah.
Yeah. And oh yeah, the color in the entire film, so much great like neon lighting. Like when he first walks into that club or whatever it is, there's like that red light in the stairwell. What the fuck? In the staircase, and then like or all the scenes when they're in like motels and like there's a cafe, and it's just like all the like lighting is just so great in this film. But
then there's the last scene in the movie, which it's not a happy ending, unfortunately.
Yeah, so after they kind of talk about their,
and she agrees to see Hunter.
Yeah, that he's in the hotel or whatever, and then she goes to see him, and I really love that when they kind of reunite. That's also a great scene, and like they're just like she like hugs him, and they're just standing there, and then you see Travis standing outside, kind of like, I guess by his truck, and like he's looking up at the hotel, so I kind of imagine like he saw him, and then just gets in his truck, and also the lighting in that scene is so fucking cool. Like that's such great. That whole part looks great, and then he just gets in his truck and like drives away. I don't know. Is he going back to the desert?
I don't know where Travis is going, but I hope he figures it out.
Yeah, and like I said, that's kind of a. It's not really depressing, but it's not a happy ending. It's bittersweet because
Yeah, it's very.
She reunites with her son, but he's a
good tearjerker moment.
Yeah, but without being overtly trying to be like tugging your heartstrings, which he's just he's trying to make it right, trying to
fix things, and then I guess he fixes it only so much.
Yeah, it's like
he realized that he was better off, I guess in his mind, better off without them in his life. They were better off without him.
Yeah. I see it more as they were better off, or he thought like they were better off without him than like he's better off without them. I don't think that was the.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wonder what the Travis's brother and his wife thought of that, because like Travis just kind of takes off with Hunter. He doesn't tell them, and like they were like really upset in that one scene when like Hunter calls them from the gas station or whatever it was, and like says like, "Oh, I'm okay. I'm with Travis." Like I wonder like how it played out then, because like they still wanted Hunter, and now what was her name? Jane, I think it was Travis's wife. Now she has him, so I don't know. Just anything else? I saw a Letterboxd review that pointed out kind of a biblical what's the word?
Oh.
Parallel, I guess is the word. Biblical parallel.
Yeah.
Of I guess I'm not that familiar with biblical stuff, but it was like I guess Moses wandered the desert for 40 years. And let's see what it says. Moses wandered the desert for 40 years, and thus he was not allowed to see the promised land. He was not able to enter it. His only solace was leading others to it, and they might enter and lead a better life than him. Which is kind of what he does. He comes out of the desert and then he leads Hunter, to his mother. So that's interesting. I mean, I didn't pick that up at all, but I saw that on a Letterboxd review. So that's a very interesting. I love it when I can read something like that, and it makes me appreciate the film more, because that's kind of a.
It's like, ooh, a new way to view the film.
Yeah, like a new level of it. So
I wish we got a commentary with Harry Dean Stanton. That would have been amazing.
Yeah, I still need to listen to the one with. Was it Finn Vendors? Was that the commentary?
Yeah, it's Finn Vendors.
All right, yeah.
Gimme news.
Yeah, I always like when Criterion includes audio commentary. I like those. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think I have much more to say about it, other than it's a masterpiece and I love it, and it's probably one of my favorite films from the 80s.
It's definitely one of my favorite films of all time. It's in my top 4 easily.
I love this film. I think it's a masterpiece, but I wouldn't put it in like top favorites. It's like top favorites. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Or yeah. I would give this 9 out of 10. I don't really have any flaws with it, to be honest, but it's not quite 10 out of 10 level.
Yeah, I think
I kind of saved
that.
I kind of saved that. I saved 10 for like, I don't know, films that
blew me away.
This film blows me away too. Like I think,
I don't know. There's just a certain thing 10/10s have over 9/10s. A certain amount of pizzazz, a certain amount of jizzy jazz.
Certain amount of jizz. There's nothing. I really don't have any flaws with this movie. I think it's pretty much perfect, but it's just not 10 out of 10 level for me. But yeah, I'd give this a solid 9 out of 10. Yeah, definitely one of the. I would put this as like one of the greatest films ever made. Really, I think it's brilliant. Really
I think
great.
It's up there too.
Yeah, and just such good acting and looks great. And it's very well paced. Like I said before, it's not even for a moment is it dull, even when like not too much is happening. So you two would give it a 9 out of 10?
Yeah, 9 out of 10 for me.
R.I.P. to Harry Dean Stanton. What else have you watched this week? Oh, before we get onto that, shout out Mav. Was the channel name who recommended this film? So I hope our discussion was satisfactory, and please recommend more stuff.
Everybody can recommend.
Yeah, anybody who's listening. We do need recommendations for Oprah. Do people recommend stuff to Oprah?
To recommend stuff to us.
Yeah. I mean, only 3 people recommend stuff for this one, and we got some good discussion out of it. But it would be better if whoever listens recommends something. If you want to hear us talk about it every third episode, if you're listening to this on Spotify, go over to the description and go to YouTube and comment it down below. So yeah, what else have you watched this week?
I saw No Sudden Move, which is Steven Soderbergh, yeah, and the Fish Islands in 1950s, I think 40s, 50s, 60s retro mobster type flick. It's about these 2 guys who get caught up in a sham and then figure out a way to sham themselves all the way up to the top of the ladder.
A trailer for that. It looked
got
decent.
A great cast. It's got David Harbour, Don Cheadle, Brendan Fraser. Yeah, he's coming back.
Hell yeah! I mean, I'm excited for that. Did we bring that up in the last episode? I think we did. Fuck.
The Aronofsky?
Yeah, the whale.
Yeah, the whale.
I forget if we brought that up in the Hellraiser episode or not, but yeah, I'm excited. Brendan Fraser coming back.
Brendan Fraser, David Harbour.
Is it Benicio del Toro in there?
Yeah, Benicio del Toro's in there. Yeah, it's got a great badass cast. Oh yeah, it's got Kieran Culkin.
Yeah, Steven Soderbergh. He's kind of a interesting director. He's kind of all over the place. Like he's made I haven't seen that many of his films, but I know he's got a very interesting filmography. He does a lot of different stuff. I've seen like a couple of the Ocean's films. I've seen like.
I don't know if I've seen these Soderbergh.
Yeah, he's got like the Ocean's films, Contagion, Logan Lucky, Magic Mike. Side Effect. Oh yeah, I want to see Sex, Lies, and Videotape. That one's supposed to be good. Unsane. Wasn't that the one that was like shot on an iPhone or something?
I'm not even sure. I don't know if I've seen much Soderbergh's for some reason.
We should do a double feature and talk about both Magic Mikes.
Oh god.
That would be funny.
Oh, I need to see Contagion, especially with the whole pandemic going on.
Yeah, wasn't that like the #1 like rented and watched movie when like all the COVID stuff first started happening? Wait, does something bad happen if we say COVID, or is that over? Remember for a while? I guess that was YouTube with being monetized.
Oh
we're
man,
not monetized
I don't
anyway.
know. I didn't even think about that.
Nah, we're not. That was for people who were monetized on YouTube, and we're not even close to being monetized. So we can say all the bad stuff if we want. Fuck.
Pussy ass
Say
bitch.
whatever we want. Side Effects also looks decent from Steven Soderbergh.
I remember when that was in theaters, but yeah, I had no interest in it.
Oh yeah, he did that Solaris. It wasn't really a remake because it was a slightly different adaptation of the book, but he did that Solaris with George Clooney. That was.
I'm not sure how I felt about that. I never finished the original Solaris for some reason.
Yeah, I think the original Solaris is like one of the best films ever, and yeah, I wasn't a big fan of the remake. It kind of leaned into like a sort of generic romance like drama type
Hollywood
of thing.
Adaptations.
Yeah, it was so much. I mean, maybe I'm just comparing it too hard to the 70s one because Tarkovsky is one of my favorite directors, but yeah, it's just I couldn't help but compare it, and it's just so much weaker because like Solaris is very philosophical and it's a very deep film. I don't fully understand it, but yeah, and the remake was a bit more more Hollywoodized, if that's a word. Generica. As what's his name from Hellraiser Revelations said. Anyway, is that all you watched this week?
Pretty much. I watch some TV, but that's it.
Yeah, I watched. Let's see. I rewatched Weekend from 2011, which is really great gay romance. I picked up the Criterion of it last sale, and yeah, I really love that film. I don't like romance movies, but I have a soft spot for that one.
I'm a sucker for a few of them. A Walk to Remember. Like that movie a
I haven't
lot.
seen that. Yeah, I haven't. It's just not really a genre I actively like seek out to watch. It's like I never want to sit. I never like sit down and think, man, I want to watch a romance. But there are films that I like that are
There was some
romance.
really good romance. Parasex's is
Yeah,
romance.
yeah.
Solo.
My
House that Jack built.
Each of the Killer is low key a romance. Not gonna lie. I talked about that in the Each of the Killer episode. Yeah, that one's anyway. I also watched. Yeah, I've mostly been watching. I've been kind of binging 6 Feet Under. I finished season 4, and it's just started the final season. There's only like 10 episodes or like 8 episodes left, and I'm really loving that show. I'm kind of. It's like kind of a bummer that's ending, you know, or not that's ending, but like I'm getting to the end of the show. But yeah. I'd rather have a show go for 5 really good seasons than drag on for like 10 seasons and just get worse and worse until you don't even want to watch it. So like, yeah, that's cool. I'll probably finish it by next episode. I'll give
sounds like aging.
What?
Sounds like aging.
Yeah. I also watched the I watched the Eddie Murphy stand-up special Delirious, which is
wow, I've never seen that.
Yeah, Eddie Murphy, he's just hilarious, especially in that. I haven't really seen that many Eddie Murphy movies, but that's just such a great stand-up. It's like an hour and some long. It's pretty short.
Yeah,
and it's kind of a classic. Oh yeah, he's great in it. There's a lot of jokes in it that really wouldn't be able to get away with it today with it being completely canceled, but I think it's hilarious. It's a great stand-up. One of my favorite stand-up specials, I guess. Yeah, that's it. I didn't really watch a lot. Like I said, I've been watching 6 Feet Under, so I'll probably get back into watching movies next week. Because I'll probably finish 6 Feet Under over the weekend. And of course, I watched Yojimbo and Parasex's. So.
Yeah.
Al, is there anything else to say, or should we get on to our recommendation?
I guess recommendation. I don't know. I don't have anything else to say. I wish I did.
Okay. Yeah. So, which brings us to recommendation for the next episode. Andy, it's your turn to recommend a movie, and what we're going to kind of do from now on is one of us will recommend a movie, then the other one will recommend a movie kind of similar or in some way generally connected to the other one in some way, just to, we're not going to talk about fucking 2 completely separate movies, whatever, just, yeah, you have a recommendation. So what is your recommendation for next episode?
Interstellar by Christopher Nolan.
Nice. Yeah,
I
haven't seen that one for a while. When I
Me
first
neither,
saw it,
actually. I saw it
also, I kind of recommended, since we're going to try and talk about at least 2 movies per episode, depending on how long the movie is, like if we go ahead and whatever, I'm going on and on. I also recommended High Life from 2018 by Claire Denis. And both of these films are sci-fi dramas, which I watched a while back and wasn't the hugest fan of because I just wasn't fully getting it, which I want to revisit. So that's the theme for next episode. I think I bought the 4K of Interstellar, so that should look It's a very visually striking movie, so that should be cool.
I've seen it like twice, I think, for some reason, but it's still one of my favorite movies.
Nice. Yeah, I would, from what I remember, it's probably one of the lesser known ones, but like I really need to rewatch it because I remember a lot of great parts and a lot of parts I didn't like so much. Same for High Life, because like I didn't really understand what the fuck was going on in High Life, and I've been wanting to revisit it for a couple of years now. So yeah, so if you're interested in that, check that out in episode 5, I guess. This is episode 4.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah.
This might have. Yep. So I guess that's it. Is there anything we should say before the episode ends?
I don't know.
All right. So see everyone in the next episode. And like I said before, recommend a movie if you want to down in the comments, and we'll probably talk about it. In the, what would it be, 7th episode? In the 7th episode. So yeah. Also, check out those Discord servers I shouted out, and follow us on Letterboxd, you fuck.
And Instagram at Long
And
Days
Instagram,
Journey
yes.
into Film.
Yeah. So that's about it. See you next week.
Yep.